Good to have you again on the program, Healthy Living. I am Blessing Ofumio. Today we are taking a look at a very critical topic, infertility in men. With me on this program today is Reverend Tony Akinyemi. So you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
Okay. Reverend, you're looking so sparkling. Your color is just radiating. What's the secret?
Well, the glory of God primarily. And then, of course, as you probably know, healthy living principles at work.
Meaning you don't take those swallows in the morning, those rice things.
Yeah, those are for other times, definitely not for breakfast.
All right, welcome once again to the program. Today we are talking about infertility in men. You know, when you say infertility, the first thing that will come to the mind of every person is women.
That's right.
So today we are looking out for the men, infertility. What are the causes of infertility?
Yeah, you've rightly pointed it out. Typically when there's a couple believing God for the fruit of the womb, the focus is usually on the woman. Oh, the woman is infertile. The man assumes that he's okay.
Yes.
But quite often, men don't realize that they too could be contributing to the situation. In fact, medically speaking, science says 1/3 of the time infertility in a home is caused by the man. Wow. 1/3 of the time. 1/3 of the time it is due to the woman. And 1/3 of the time is due to either both of them or unknown causes. So it's all shared, even between the man and the woman. So if there is infertility in any home or in the couple's life, they need to look at both sides. Okay. And it's usually a challenge bringing the men to the table to have a conversation around it and deal with the issues. You just asked the question, what are the causes? Now, scientifically, the causes for infertility in men can be categorized into three. We have what we call pre-testicular causes. We have testicular causes and we have post-testicular causes. Now, there are some issues that a boy can be born with from birth. Okay. And those issues will now affect him later in life when he becomes an adult, as far as fertility is concerned. Okay. Then there are some issues that are acquired along the way as the boy is growing up. That can also contribute to infertility later in life. And then the issue of diet and lifestyle also contributes. Okay. As we begin to break it down, you begin to understand the details of how all of these things can be. So the things that a child is born with, they are called congenital issues. For example, a baby boy may be born and he has undescended testicles. In other words, the testicles are not descended into the sac, into the scrotum. So they are buried inside his body. And if that is the case, then those testicles will eventually atrophy. So atrophy means that it will shrink and becomes like a tiny dot, and it will not be able to produce sperms. Wow. Because the testicles don't like heat. That's why a man's testicles hang outside his body, where the temperature is cooler. The temperature inside the body is too warm. Okay. Now, for a woman, it's a different ball game. The ovaries like heat. That is how the eggs mature and they are released in ovulation. That's why the ovaries of a woman are buried inside her body. Just like you are incubating an egg. A hen will lay an egg and then it will sit on the egg to keep it warm, to incubate it. So the eggs of a woman needs to be incubated. Okay. That's why the ovaries are buried inside the body. But for the man, high temperature will shut down the factory. So that's why the testicles are hanging outside the body. Now, so if a baby is born and the testicles don't descend, they are buried inside the body, that is already a foundational problem. We advise mothers that when you give birth to a baby boy, one of the first things to examine is to feel the balls and make sure the two of them are there inside the sac. If they are not there, it means that it's buried inside the body. There's something that can be done at that stage.
Okay.
I mean, you just need to see your pediatrician. They will tell you, guide you how to go about it, to perform, procedures to make the testicles to descend. Okay. Because if it stays in the body until the boy is 5, 6, 10, it's too late.
Wow.
Because it will have shrunken and it will have gone dead, more or less. And so at the end of the day, that boy is sterile for life. Okay, so those are things that can happen during birth or before birth that can contribute to it later. Then when the baby boy is growing up, they can contract certain infections. Mumps, for example. I'm sure you're familiar, or many people are familiar with mumps. It's a kind of infection that makes the lymph nodes around this neck to kind of swell up. When a baby boy contracts mumps, now the debate is still on whether it is the mumps itself that can cause infertility in the future, or the drugs that are used to treat the mumps that has that side effect. The debate is still out there. Which of the two is actually causing it? But when a child has mumps, a boy in particular, and is treated, there is the tendency that when he gets up, it might affect some aspect of his fertility profile. So it could be one of the testicles or both of the testicles that will be affected. We call it unilateral or bilateral. Okay? And that can affect the sperm production, the sperm count, the sperm morphology, the sperm motility of that boy later in life. So those are things from childhood that can cause infertility in men. And then when a baby boy is born with 2 testicles, ideally, if there is no problem, 2 testicles that are supposed to be hanging outside his body. He doesn't come from heaven with the sperms that he will need to father a child.
Wow.
The testicles are just 2 factories that can produce sperms later in life when he becomes an adult. So when he reaches the age of puberty, let's say 13, 14, 15, thereabouts, he begins to produce certain hormones. He begins to develop what we call secondary sexual characteristics. Okay. You see him growing beards, pubic hair, you see his voice getting deeper. All those are secondary sexual characteristics to show that this boy is reaching puberty, he's becoming a man. He's transitioning from boyhood to manhood. And now at that point, he begins to release certain hormones. Prominent among those hormones is testosterone. And that testosterone, among other things, along with other hormones, we now start priming those 2 testicles, the factories, to get ready to open the factory for production. It is at that stage that the boy begins to produce sperms. Now, to produce sperms, he also needs raw materials. It's like you open a bakery. You need flour, you need sugar, you need butter, this, all of those things to start baking loaves of bread. So for him to start producing sperms, he needs certain building blocks. He needs stem cells, which his body will supply. Okay. He needs proteins, he needs fats and oil, he needs minerals, particularly zinc, and several other things that the body will now put together as a recipe to start manufacturing sperms. Now, the process of sperm production is called spermatogenesis. From start to finish, it takes approximately 72 to 74 days. Once the production starts, takes that length of time, 72 to 74 days, for a batch of sperms to mature and to be ready. Okay. And once they are mature and ready, they are warehoused in the epididymis. Just warehoused there, waiting for the time they will be ejaculated or released to come out. So he keeps producing the sperms. So on every single day, a batch will mature and be warehoused. Tomorrow, another batch will mature, be warehoused. So they are just piling up and storing there. Okay. Now, so if anything happens to the process of spermatogenesis, either the guy is not consuming the nutrients needed for sperm production, his diet is deficient in zinc, for example, then it's going to affect the process of sperm production at the end of the day. Then if he gets infected, viral infection, bacterial infection, particularly UTI, urinary tract infection, okay, that can also impact negatively on the process of spermatogenesis, sperm production. Then if he wears tight-fitting pants or briefs, or very tight jeans, it will make the temperature around that region to be too high.
Wow.
And once the temperature goes too high, the factory just shuts down, So that's why we advise men to wear boxers and to also ventilate very well. Wear clothes that can make them ventilate properly when they sleep, so that sperm production is not affected. Because the process, like I said, is a 72 to 74 day process. And if anything happens during that period, maybe he gets malaria or he gets typhoid or he gets any kind of infection and his temperature, he has fever. That high temperature can also affect, sperm production during that period. So all of those are factors that can contribute to sperm production. Then the things that can happen to the blood vessels, they are called, it's called varicocele. Varicocele is when the blood vessel develops, it becomes like varicose vein, it becomes varicose. It swells, it's inflamed, it narrows, it can even be completely blocked.
Okay.
And so the nutrients no longer reach the testicles. Okay. So there is a problem. And varicocele can happen if a child does aggressive riding, maybe when he was young. Maybe horse riding or bicycle riding. And and he does that for a long period of time. That can make the blood vessels around that region to get varicosed.
Okay.
And if he doesn't have the type of nutrients that can also protect the blood vessels, something like copper, something like rutin, R-U-T-I-N, then it can affect the blood vessel. Once there is varicose blood vessel, there's impairment in nutrient delivery to site. So you can see how many factors can come together to affect a man's sperm production. And there are two things about sperm production, really. One is the quantity that the man is able to produce, and the second one is the quality of what he is producing.
Wow. After the break, we'll continue. All right, in case you are just joining us, it is Healthy Living, and my guest on the program is Reverend Tony Akinyemi. Yes, we are talking about infertility in men. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Hi, Tony Akinyemi is my name, and I've written about 20 books to date. More are in the offing. Out of the 20 published books, to my credit, 6 of them are on healthy living. And I want to recommend these resources to you, to access them either digitally online or to get your hard copies. For digital access, you can visit amazon.com or familabooks.com. And for physical copies, you can visit the Shepherd stores at 18 Shogunle Street, Abule Onigbagbo off Mobolaji Bankantoni Way, between Eco Hospital and Sheraton Hotel Ikeja, to obtain your copy. You can also contact the email address on the screen or the telephone number, or send a WhatsApp message, and you'll be guided as to where to get any of the copies. God bless you as you access these resources. They will inform you, and the information will help to transform your health and that of your family, as well as that of the people in your sphere of influence. God bless you and thank you.
You're welcome back. Good to know that you're still there. Before the break, Reverend Tony was taking us through sperm production. Sir, you said that there are two main processes in sperm production: the quality and the quantity, right?
That's right, yeah.
So tell us more about it.
Yeah, some men are not able to produce sperms at all. 0 sperm count. That is a condition known as azoospermia.
Okay.
Then some produce, but the quantity is not good enough.
Okay.
That's called oligozoospermia. Now, for a man to be able to put his wife in the family way, to be able to impregnate a woman, the chances are better if he is able to deliver at least 20 million sperm per meal. 20 million minimum. It could be as high as 100 million, 120 million, 200 million. But the minimum that is acceptable, that makes the chances of one of the sperms being able to swim to reach the egg to fertilize it is 20 million. So if a man produces less than 20 million viable sperm, we call that low sperm count.
Okay.
That means that the chances are very remote. Because when the man deposits the sperms will need to swim to go to where the egg is in the fallopian tube to fertilize it. And if the number of sperms, the quantity is few, then the chances of one of them getting to the target is very remote. But if there are many, there's a very high chance that at least one of them will manage to get there. So that's why the sperm count, the quantity matters. Now, the quality has to do with the viability of those sperms. We talk about morphology and motility. Morphology is the shape, the design of the sperm. There is no deformity. Okay. The motility is the agility, the ability to swim and get to the location where the egg is. So now, some sperms are produced and they have defective head. If they even swim to the egg, they are not able to penetrate the egg, to fuse with the egg, to fertilize the egg. So they just get there, dance around the egg,
and come back,
and they die. So the quality is poor then. Then some of them have good head that can penetrate the egg, but they have defective tails. That means, and they use the tail to swim. It's like a fish that is wagging its tail to swim through water. So if the tail is defective, then it cannot even swim. It is where it is dumped, that's where it will stay and die. Now, the sperm can stay alive for 72 hours after it has been deposited into the woman. It will be alive for 72 hours, 3 days. Because the sperm carries, the semen, the ejaculate, what comes out of the man has fluid, and the sperms are in the fluid, it's like in the swimming pool. And there is nutrient inside that fluid that the sperms will be feeding on for the 3 days, so they are able to survive for 3 days. So it gives them enough time to be able to swim to get to their destination. The egg, on the other hand, for the woman, only lives for 24 hours once it is released. So if the sperms are not agile enough and they don't swim to get there, the egg can disintegrate even before they get there, So there's only a 24-hour chance to get pregnant in a month, between the couple. And that's why the motility of the sperms, are very important. Some men will produce let's say 60 million sperms when you check it out. And maybe 50% of them are dead on arrival, completely dead. Maybe 50% are alive. The 50% that is alive, you also profile them and you find that maybe out of the 30 million that are alive, 10 million have defective tails. Maybe another 5 million has defective head. Maybe another 2 million, they are not motile. They are just weak and tired, they can't swim. So at the end of the day, it might just be 5 million or 3 million or 2 million out of the whole lot that has the capacity to swim to the site of the egg and to fuse with the egg to fertilize it. So the volume is not the only important thing. The quality of what you deliver is also important.
So now those men that are going through, that have low sperm count, how can they boost?
That's a very good question. I mentioned the fact that for a man to produce sperms, it takes about 72 to 74 days, and he needs a number of building blocks or ingredients to be able to make that. And one of them is the stem cells from his own body. The number 2 are the nutrients. And then number 3 is the blood vessel that carries those nutrients to site. So we have to make sure that there's no roadblock. Nutrients can get to site. That's the first one. So the person, if the person has 0 sperm count or low sperm count, he may need to have his doctor check him out for varicocele. If there is varicocele, they can address that and deal with it. The second one is to ensure that he's eating the kind of foods that are rich in the ingredients needed for sperm production. I'll give you some examples. For example, I mentioned zinc. Zinc is very critical for many processes, biochemical processes, physiological processes in the body. Zinc is important in immune boosting to make your immunity strong. Zinc is important in, inhibiting viral replication. Zinc is important in making wounds to heal very quickly. If somebody has a wound, if it's lacking in zinc, the wound will not heal very quickly. So apart from those many other functions, now when it comes to sperm production or fertility, zinc is also very important in sperm production for a man. Okay, so the man must identify the foods that are high in zinc. Okay. For example, rice is supposed to be high in zinc. But unfortunately, the majority of the rice out there are polished rice, polished white rice. The process of polishing rice removes all the zinc because the zinc is on the skin of the rice. Once they polish the rice, it's almost zinkless rice. Okay. So you see these days we eat a lot of zinkless rice. We love it because of the taste, because of the ease of cooking and all of that. Meanwhile, we are getting low zinc. I see all the benefits I mentioned that zinc can bring. Yes. If a man continues to eat polished white rice all his life and he doesn't have other sources of getting zinc, he's likely going to have low sperm count. Wow. So I recommend that men should be eating rice that is rich in zinc, that is not polished. So brown rice and all our local rice in Nigeria, Ofada rice, Abakaliki rice, Igbesa rice, the ones that are not polished, they are just made whole like that. They remove the husk at the back and that's it. And you cook it. It may not be as tasty and as nice as the polished one, but that's the one that is nutrient rich, that will give you the ingredients you need for sperm production. So that's one source of zinc. Rice that is not polished. Okay. Second, ginger is also very rich in zinc. So I have a small recipe I give to men to use to boost their sperm count. I say make smoothie in the morning. Smoothie is just blending all kinds of fruits and vegetables together in your blender, that's all. So when you are blending those things together to drink, you include ginger, you include garlic. Garlic has a broad spectrum, mild antimicrobial effect. In other words, if the man even has infection, and that infection can affect sperm production, once you add garlic to your smoothie, it's like you are taking a natural antibiotic that will help you address the infection part. Then the zinc component, the ginger component will bring the zinc into the mix. Then there are some fruits and vegetables that even their design, their shape, they are pointers to the fact that, this might be helpful in a man's fertility. For example, cucumber. Okay. See, the cucumber is that long thing that looks like a man's... I won't say it here. Okay. And then carrots, similarly. Those are things that they should blend into their... So I tell men, then put tomato, ripe tomato. Tomato is shaped like the prostate of a man. Yes, yes. Okay. So you see the cucumber, you see the carrot that looks like the penis of a man, and then you look at the tomato that looks like his prostate, and then you look at ginger and garlic that will provide the necessary ingredients. You blend everything together. So for a man to boost sperm count, to simplify it, number one, eat 3 cucumbers every day. Wow. 1 cucumber in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening. Eat 3 carrots a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening. Then eat ripe tomato, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening. Okay, and then make your smoothie, blending in ginger and garlic and maybe some turmeric. Then make your juice to drink. Instead of taking regular soft drinks, you just make your own soft drink at home, pineapple juice for example. Then you blend in a lot of ginger and a lot of garlic. Some people say, I don't want to smell garlic. I said, no problem. Garlic has a very strong odor, quite all right. The pineapple has a very sweet aroma that can overshadow that of the garlic. So you make pineapple juice and then you blend a lot of garlic and a lot of ginger inside and make it your drink. Keep it in the refrigerator and just take a shot, a glass every day. And over a 3-month period, you will see your sperm count quadruple. Wow. At the end of the day. If nothing is wrong with the testicles, if the factories are okay and you are bringing in all these ingredients, the sperm count will just go up. Wow.
All right, this topic is so interesting that we just want to be talking. All right, thank you so much for your time on this program. We have come to the end of the program, Healthy Living. Today's topic is a wow. In case you're going through low sperm count, weak erection, and all of that, don't forget to call us on 081-88-111112 or 081-5139-3134. And don't forget, always eat 3 cucumbers, 3 carrots to boost
and 3
your
tomatoes.
sperm, and 3 tomatoes. All right, I am Blessing Ofomia. We'll do it again next week. Don't miss it for any reason.